Ever wonder what it's like to have $100 million, money, power, status, respect, influence, flying all around the world, having multiple cars, multiple vacation homes? But it's not what you think. I recently read through a Reddit post called The Confessions of a Hector Millionaire, where the person walked through all the lessons that they learned over 5 different posts. So what I'm going to do on this episode is summarize that and share 5 different lessons that you can apply in your own life. And it's not what you think, and the last one will surprise you. So before we get started on the lessons, let's go through the background. This group makes up the top 0.1% of the population in the entire world. There are only 30,000 people that have a net worth of 100 million or more, and there are only 10,000 here in the United States of America. So reading through the posts, I have no idea who this person is, what their age is, what their sex is, but let's just call this person Hector because they're a Hector millionaire. So what we do know about this person is that Hector was a software engineer and was part of a public IPO. The company that he worked for went public in the 2010s, so right at the peak of the tech boom. During that IPO, Hector walked away with $30 million. Today, he has a total net worth of over $125 million. This portfolio is split between crypto and stocks, angel investments, real estate, which includes his house, beach house, and 4 different rentals, and a foundation that he set up to donate to nonprofits. So if you add all of those up, that's $125 million. So what's interesting about Hector is that he manages all of his own money. He does not use a financial advisor. He didn't want to pay one Lambo per year for service, so he just decided to manage all of his money himself. He did use a financial advisor in the beginning, but when he realized that the financial advisor couldn't outperform the market, he decided to manage the money himself and put everything into index funds. So now that we got the basic background and the context out of the way, let's go through the 5 lessons. So number 1, luck is a huge factor in success. He attributes most of his success to luck and timing. There are 2 quotes that I'll pull out from the Reddit post that I found very interesting. So the first one reads, "I was really at the right place at the right time to make that $30 million windfall at the company IPO. My plan worked very well for the 2010s. And between both of those, what's really interesting is that he felt that he got lucky. He just worked at a company and the company went public. Of course, there's some diligence you can do and you can figure out which company you want to work for and put your money on a horse that you want to back. But he really didn't do a lot of research. He was just a software engineer. He got really lucky and the company went public in the 2010s. So what else happened in the 2010s was this was a really good time for tech investments. So when his company went public, the company stopped rising and rising. He took the money from the IPO and then he invested into other tech stocks that would also increase. He also bought a lot of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, which also went up. Right place, right time. I think if his company went public today, I don't think he would have had such a great bull run. I'm not sure he would have had the same returns. The 2010s was really known for 0 interest rates, and obviously we're seeing high interest rates today. Yes, hard work and perseverance and not giving up is a huge recipe for success, but so is luck and timing, things that you can't really control. I would argue that luck and timing accounts for 50% or more of success. If you ask any successful person or any millionaire or any billionaire, what was the secret to their success? Almost every single one of them will say luck and timing. So it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. Number 2, real estate is not a great investment. So yes, the American dream is to own your own home. Most people, that accounts for a majority of their net worth, but it's not a great investment. It's a lot of work. It's not a passive investment. You have to deal with tenants, you have to deal with maintenance, you have to deal with things breaking all the time. It just takes up a lot of mental space. In fact, he regrets buying his second home, which was supposed to be a vacation home. And I love this quote from the post. It reads, "If I were to do it again, I wouldn't buy it because the upkeep takes too much of my mental space." Could you imagine owning a home in New York and LA and Miami or in the mountains or on a lake or at the beach and not really being able to enjoy it because you're constantly dealing with issues with the house? Yes, I'm pretty sure this person could have hired someone, but you still have to oversee and manage everything. That takes away from not only time, but the mental capacity for what you're thinking about. So yes, even though he was worth over $100 million, he was stressing about all the things that he owned. So owning multiple homes causes more stress than pleasure. And it's much easier to just stay at a hotel or Airbnb. So when you think about owning your home or owning a second home, just think about all the different upkeep. Most of the time, especially with today with the Airbnb bust, it's not going to be a great investment, not only financially, but also mentally. It's going to take away a lot of mental headspace and energy away from other things that you should be doing. Number 3, he could not spend the money because the novelty wore off. After a certain amount of money, if you're extremely wealthy, let's say $20 million if you live in New York City, it's really hard to spend above that. According to Hector, beyond that, there's very little marginal utility unless you enjoy living like royalty with employees gossiping behind your back. I found that pretty interesting because the novelty just wore off. He mentioned in the first couple of years when he got the huge cash windfall, he bought all the toys. He went traveling, he bought cars, he bought multiple homes. And he shares this funny story that once he went on a private jet and experienced it, he just realized he didn't want to do that anymore. And the reason is because the novelty wears off. It's a vicious cycle. You buy things, those things add more stress into your life. You keep buying those things because you think it will bring you happiness, and you go into the cycle. So you can either stay on the cycle or get off the cycle, and he decided to step off that cycle. So how does that apply to us if we're not hectomillionaires? Whether you have $1 billion in the bank or $100 in the bank, we often go out and just buy things. And these things add stress to our lives. We think it's going to solve a void, and it doesn't. So we go into the cycle over and over again. It's a lesson as old as time, is that buying these things will not make us happy. So buying things or even experiences is not going to fill whatever void that we have in our life. It's not going to create any lasting joy or happiness. And number 4, which is my favorite, money is just a tool to make your life easier. Money can own you, or you can use money to run your life. So he uses this example of effort versus joy. It's not really about how much money you spend, but it's about the effort and the joy that you derive out of it. Owning giant mansions, keeping multiple residences, or owning a private jet, it requires maintenance and manpower, but it's really worth all the effort, and does it actually bring joy? So what he does instead is he optimizes for time wealth. So essentially he uses the money to give himself back time, which gives him a lot more freedom and flexibility to do whatever he wants with his time. I love this quote. We eat healthy food, we have nice gadgets, we live in nice homes, we travel well, and most importantly, I have control of how I spend my time. Having control of your time is priceless. To me, the person that can control their time and have complete freedom and flexibility is extremely wealthy versus someone that's slaving away, trying to make as much money as possible, but completely unhappy and has zero control of their time. So the lesson here is to optimize for time and using money as a tool to get you there. And last but not least, number 5, finding purpose and what matters in life is free. So after he went through his entire journey, he got really bored. And through that boredom, he also got really depressed, and he did a lot of introspection to figure out what he wanted to do with all this time that he had on his hands. After some introspection, he realized he needed the following. And there's a list of 6 things. It was sense of purpose, mastering creativity, human connections, identity and respect, a routine, and autonomy. All things you can get for free. So what I thought was pretty interesting is that somebody that was worth $100 million went full circle. Literally couldn't spend the money, bought all the toys, added more stress to his life. And once he did a little bit of introspection, he realized he needed all the things that are just free. A sense of purpose, mastery, expressing yourself creatively, having great relationships. All these things are just free in life. So when you think about what matters in life, just remember that the best things in life are usually free. So those were the 5 lessons. And like the late, great Biggie Smalls said, mo money, mo problems. Having $100 million is not what it's cut up to be. And I know what you're thinking. It's easy for him to say because he's rich. I'm not. And when I get rich, those things will not happen to me. And that is a trap. There's some things that you just need to experience in life and learn those lessons on your own. But for the other 99.99% of us, we're never going to know what it's like to have $100 million. But I do think the lessons that this person shared is applicable to anyone regardless of your net worth. If you look around, the things that will make you happy and fulfilled and have a sense of purpose are free. Living near your friends, embracing all facets of your identity, expressing yourself creatively, giving back to your community, volunteering, improving 1% every single day, having great relationships, being a great partner and parent. All these things are free. So it's just a good reminder, and it gives you perspective on what matters most in life. So what's he up to now? I find a lot more joy and meaning spending time with my family while working on various side projects, trolling on the internet, talking to old friends, and making new friends through my investment work. It's the simple things in life that money can't buy. So if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button. A lot of my videos talk about novel ideas related to life, business, and other random rabbit holes. Until the next one, adios.